All right, so it looks like another classic edition of X's own fans turn on him. Looks like Cenk Uygur has gotten some backlash. Now, this is something we all saw coming. We've seen this coming. He did the same thing in 2016. So if you are in any way surprised by this move from Cenk, you don't know Cenk. You must be new to this whole game. But he is somebody who in 2016, after the primary was over, he was very rabidly pro-Hillary. He said Trump is way worse, the way worse evil. He and Jimmy Dore got into tons of debates over this. So keep that in mind. All right, that's a crucial piece. So he posted this tweet that says, "One of the things establishment Democrats do a million times better than Donald Trump is competence. In an emergency, you don't want Bozo the Clown in charge. You want a grown-up. Cuomo and Joe Biden are competent managers when we really need it." Now, the hilariousness of this tweet and how inaccurate this is. Cuomo, first of all, there's reports now, there's this NY Times piece. This is how delays and unheeded warnings hindered New York's virus fight. And so it's because New York failed to respond quickly enough, and New York has very high population density. Everyone lives on top of each other practically. They're still getting rocked by this, by the way. They're getting rocked. They just got like 750 deaths again in one day, so it's a horrible tragedy over there that doesn't seem to be mitigating. It seems like it's staying the same, sometimes rising, but it's roughly in the same arena of that 750 number, which is really a tragedy. But it does have to do a lot, and so the former CDC chief says that New York's death toll would have been up to 80% lower if Cuomo and de Blasio weren't such incompetent failures. So apparently de Blasio didn't do a good job. Also, de Blasio just said he was closing all NYC schools until September, and Cuomo apparently said he's going to override. He's overriding it, and then also he's cut Medicaid funds. He's done a really horrible job, and so this whole idea and this narrative that Andrew Cuomo has done a great job as a response. Really, the person that should be getting all this praise is Gavin Newsom. I mean, I'm here in California. I don't understand how California has responded so well. I mean, there's barely any COVID deaths. It's absolutely insane, honestly, especially in relative terms, in terms of numbers of population. I mean, holy smokes, it's heaven when you compare it like that, you know. So I'm still not sure how. I still can't believe it. It seems too good to be true how low it is. But if there's a governor who's going to get a lot of praise, it has to be Gavin Newsom because he's the one who has the state. I remember March 19th, we were like one of the first states to close down, shelter in place. I remember the day that it happened. So it's empirically false. Okay, factually, numbers-wise, all of that kind of stuff, that Cuomo is this competent manager. He's ass. And then Joe Biden, the guy can barely speak English. He can't speak coherent sentences. And it's hilarious because he destroyed this whole argument. Because what did he just do recently? On March 17th primaries, he and his campaign said, the CDC says it's fine to be in massive groups when you're going to vote. 3 massive primaries voting. Ohio had to fight its ass off to postpone its primary, and it ended up doing it against a court order. And what did Joe Biden just say last Tuesday? What did he say? He said, yeah, Wisconsin, you can do it. You can run the primary. Make sure that there's soap. As long as there's soap during a pandemic, you're gravy, you're chill. As long as there's some distance. And so Wisconsin went out and voted. Okay? And Joe Biden agreed with it. So who's listening to the scientists? Who's competent? There's nothing worse that you could do than literally holding an election during a global pandemic. Seriously, there isn't. All right? So this idea that Joe Biden and Cuomo are these competent awesomes, they're simply not. And so empirically, his tweet is wrong. It's completely wrong. Now, just look at Joe Biden. Look at his butt cheek chin, dude. Look at his butt crack chin. He looks horrible. He doesn't even look alive. He looks dead. Let's be real here, man. And so people are just getting pissed at him. Obviously, Cenk Joe can barely get out a coherent sentence. And people just crapping on the Young Turks, which they love to do, but it's like when you kind of give them fire with this, it's kind of unfortunate. So they just also bust unions like you? So just a lot of cheap shots and stuff like that. But people not happy with this tweet. I mean, you can check. It's got a lot of backlash. And so I have to tell you that here's what I'm going to say. This tweet is empirically incorrect. No matter what you have to say, Andrew Cuomo was not good at handling the NY response. If you're going to praise the governor, it's got to be Gavin Newsom. And then Joe Biden literally advocated for keeping the elections going, and he didn't listen to the scientists. So, and on top of that, he's brutally demented. So, Cenk Uygur taking a lot of heat for being wrong.